Okay, so this is my fairy update story, part 3. I think it's amazing that I've asked them to do things and they're doing it. Okay, it takes some time, but they're doing it. Now, they've also listened to me. They don't show themselves to the children anymore, except for that one time with Andrew a couple months ago, my 9-year-old, who saw him at the end of the bed, about so big. Though he's saying now that he doesn't remember it, or he won't talk about it at all. So we'll have to wait till he's an adult and see if he remembers anything or if it's the same story. So what happened recently, I love, is a few weeks ago, a couple months ago maybe, I was in the kitchen. My son was watching television and everything, and my kitchen light went out. And I immediately thought, oh my God, right, okay, we lost electricity again. So I turn around and my son's way over by the TV watching television. And I realize everything's on. The TV, the lights, just the kitchen light went off. And I'm like, okay. So I went over and I just kind of jiggled the light switch a little bit and they came on. They came back on. Hasn't done it since. Just that one time. I was like, okay, all right. And then not long after that, I'm gonna say days. Me and my husband, during the day, this is all happening during the day. During the day, we're there. I think my kids were in the house, but not in the room. My Roomba, who I call Boomba, but Roomba, took off from its stand and started going bananas, just running around in circles looking for its home. The home light was on. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And we're both looking at each other and we're both going, that's strange. Okay. So I had to go rescue my Roomba and then put her back on her stand and turn her off. So yeah, it's like my poor Roomba. So I'm like, okay, fairies. Okay, I know what you know. You guys are really messing with me. Now, this happened. I'm talking in a matter of days. My father-in-law has been staying with us, and he sleeps on the couch. Now, he knows I'm into all this. He thinks I'm crazy, I'm sure, and that's okay. I've never told him I had fairies. That wasn't even a subject brought up. He just knows I'm psychic and I've done stuff. So, on the second day he was here, we were talking paranormal, and I was telling him about this channel and everything. And I was telling him a couple of my stories again, and he went, that's strange. And I'm like, what's strange? And because he's an old aircraft mechanic, he's very skeptical, and he believes in this stuff, but then he turns right around and logically explains everything. It's, he backtracks, or, he tries to say it's mental and it's all, psychosis, which I get that. But he said, that's weird. And I go, what? And he goes, well, when I was trying to fall asleep, I was closing my eyes and I kept seeing these shadows running by. And he goes, I would open my eyes and there'd be nothing there. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. He goes, they were all along the floor and stuff like that. And I go, how big were they? And he goes, about this big. People. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, yeah. I go, were you scared? And how were you feeling? Were you okay? And he goes, no, I wasn't scared. He goes, it just felt like I was going to see something. He goes, it felt like I was going to see a mouse or something, but he'd only see the shadows when his eyes were almost closed or something like that. Or when his eyes were closed, he said he would feel like somebody was standing there and he'd open them up. So, yeah, and there was nothing there. So I thought that was funny. And I told him, I go, I think you met my fairies. And he's like, a what? What? And I'm like, so I had to explain to him the fairies. I think I blew his mind, people. He doesn't know what to think. He was confused, but he also knows what he experienced. And he knows what he saw. And he knows what he didn't see. So he knows what I do. And he didn't know about my fairies until afterward. So I don't know what he's thinking right now. I think he's going to have amnesia is what I think. I think he's just going to catalog that in the back of his head or forget it completely. So yeah, so the fairies are doing stuff. I told him that I think they were just checking him out. He was new. I told them to guard the house or protect the house, and they are. So they were just checking him out. They weren't being mean. And the animals didn't react to him, so obviously the animals are okay with the fairies. So I think that's awesome that these fairies are just fairies and just doing fun stuff, and they're protecting the house. I mean, they literally were checking him out. So, yeah. So that's my new fairy update.